Here is to go over rectangular and polar forms for complex numbers. So the rectangular forms in general is represented as sorry, um, x plus yi, where x and y are real number. So for example, you could have 3 plus 4i, or negative 2, negative 2 minus 3i, or 4i, for example. So how do we represent that in the graph? So this looks like ordinary coordinate planes that you have seen since 7th grade. We had x-axis as a horizontal axis, and we have vertical axis as y-axis. We called it y-axis. But in a complex plane, instead of calling x-axis, horizontal axis, we call it real axis. And vertical axis, we call that we call this vertical axis as the imaginary axis. And we're going to represent these complex number in a complex plane as 3 comma 4, or negative 2 comma negative 3. So if we plot that, that represents the complex number in in this rectangular coordinates. We call that rectangular coordinates. So 3 plus 4i, we have, this is 1, 2, 3, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the point that, oops, 3 comma 4, that's what we called, this we call it 3 plus 4i. 3 plus 4i. And negative 2, negative 3i, negative 2 minus 3i, we go negative 2, and we go negative 3i. And we call that negative 2 minus 3i. You could hear my son yelling, but not really yelling, but yeah, he's watching one of the TV shows, so please forgive me. So that's the rectangular coordinates. How about how about polar form? In general, we have r cis theta. This is the abbreviation of r cosine theta plus r sine theta. So the theta could be either degrees, or it could be radians. So, for example, if we have, instead of having r, we have 3 and a cosine 6 degrees, then that represents a complex number. But how can we graph that, right? So RCIS 60 degrees is that, so this is what we call the polar form graph, polar graph. So we're going to look at 60 degrees. So first of all, this is 90 degrees right there. It's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, this is 15 degrees. Oh, this must be for this is 45 degrees because it cuts through, and this is 30 degrees right here, this line, and this line is 60 degrees. So we go 3, 1, 2, and 3 because it's 3. That's the magnitude, and then you go 30 degrees. So I mean 60 degrees. So this is 45 degrees, and this is right here. That is 3 CIS 60 degrees. Also can be written as radians. So you can put, let's say, 7. 7 CIS pi 3 pi over 3 pi halves. So as we know, 1 pi is 180 degrees, and we have 3 pi over 2. So that is the same as 1 pi. So 3 pi over 2 is what? That equals 1 and pi halves. So, and we know that the 1 pi is 180 degrees and divided by 2. So 540 divided by 2, 3 times. So that is what? 540 divided by 2. So it should be 270 degrees. So where is it? Right here, somewhere over here. And the magnitude is 7. Magnitude is the distance, as we learned in previous videos. So you go to 7. So this is right here is the 7 CIS pi 3 pi over 2. Okay?